All right, we're taking a look at part 3 now of safety. These are some of another safety rule sheet that we're giving everybody. And some of this, again, is an overlap. Again, you've heard some of these already, so we'll go through them pretty quickly. So safety glasses or goggles should be worn at all times. No excuses will be accepted for not wearing them. You are required, number 2, to report all injuries to the instructor. Number 3, never throw anything in the shop. 4, horseplay of any kind no horseplay will be permitted. Gasoline should be never used as a parts washing liquid or fluid. A pint of gasoline can be more dangerous than several sticks of dynamite. Fuel-injected vehicles require special fuel safety considerations. So when you're washing parts off, you aren't supposed to use gasoline. Gasoline's a good solvent, but it's highly flammable and explosive, so you could actually cause an explosion. Number 6 is never go under a vehicle or on a jack until the safety stands are properly located under the vehicle. Number 7 is oil and grease should be wiped off the floor immediately. Speedy Dry, which is something you can buy in a big bag, it looks like cat litter. You can sprinkle that on oil spills and it absorbs the oil, and you sweep it up and throw it away. We use sawdust because it's cheaper. We have a lot of sawdust from the wood shop. They give us containers of that. Next item 8 is keep the jack handle out of the way. Stand creepers against the wall when they're not in use. Keep the floor free of parts and tools. So we talked about that. 9, don't put tools in your pockets. We talked about that. 10, dangling sleeves or ties can get caught in machinery. Do not wear sandals or open-toed shoes in the shop. Again, loose long hair should be tied back. Number 11, always use the right tool for the job. The wrong tool can damage the part you're being worked on and cause injury. 12 is when using a car jack, make sure that it's centered, that it will not slip. So again, have me come over. If you're going to jack up a car, make sure it's in the right position under the car before you try to jack it up. You shouldn't try to jack up underneath like the oil pan of the engine, under the gas tank. You shouldn't try to jack up under the exhaust system. So you have to make sure the jack is in the right place. 13 is never run a car inside the shop or any engine inside the shop without the exhaust fan attached. Carbon monoxide accumulates quickly in a closed room. 14, keep tools and supplies off the vehicle fenders, radiator, air cleaner, and battery. So you shouldn't be using the top of the car as like a workbench. You should be putting it on your tool cart, on the benches that we have out there. Again, keep tools and supplies off the vehicle fenders. All right, we did that. 15, keep the tools and equipment under control. Give the job your undivided attention. 16 is disconnect the battery. Again, we talked about the negative terminal first, and you only have to disconnect the negative terminal, which will prevent any sparks when you're working on an electrical system. Be careful around batteries, they can explode. Second page, 17, we're looking at exhaust pipes, mufflers, catalytic converters. Catalytic converter is part of the exhaust system, and it gets very hot. Even if the car hasn't been running for about 5 minutes, it can actually cause the converter to be hot, even though the car has been shut off for a while. So just be aware that that can burn you. We'll show you what that looks like underneath the car, so you just have to be careful. 18, never under any circumstance attempt to climb up on a raised vehicle on the lift. So if a car is up in the air and you forgot to turn the key on, or you have to get something out of the trunk or out of the car, you need to lower the car to the floor. Don't have somebody like you climb up on their shoulders trying to get up through the window of the car to get into the car to get to the thing that you left in there. We need you to lower the car down. If you jump from a high height like that, you could land on top of something and really hurt yourself, or land on top of somebody. All right, number 19 is only one individual is to set the lift arms and work the lift controls. So we're going to have a separate safety instruction just on using the lift. But when you use the lift, make sure everybody's hands are free, and make sure before you hit that green button on the lift or whatever the lift control button is, make sure everybody's hands are out of the way everybody's ready. You can't just call out, "Are you okay?" You need to walk around the vehicle to make sure there's nobody under the car and, you know, setting the lift up. Okay, number 20, any vehicle having a running engine in the shop, the transmission must be in park or neutral and the parking brake applied, and a block. We have wheel chocks. They're little rubber wheel chocks that are going to be placed before and after each wheel. I can show you what they look like. So we have a couple sitting over here. Okay, these are to keep the car from moving. We have a couple of these. You can put one in front of the tire and one after the tire, and that'll keep the car from rolling. We also have wood. We can use a block of wood to do that. Even though the car's in park, sometimes pops out, sometimes it starts rolling. We want to make sure the car doesn't go anywhere. All right. All right, so we're looking at 21 is when using the alignment rack, the vehicle must be pulled on the rack slowly and carefully. Someone must guide the driver. So again, that's this special lift here that you actually have to drive up on. We have one in the shop. If you're not comfortable with driving on this, I can drive the car up on it for you. But if you go too close to the edge, your tire can fall off the side. Obviously, you don't want to go too far forward too, because you'll go right off the end of this thing. So you should be stopping right here when you're driving the car in. You don't have to bring it all the way up to the bumper here. This basically is supposed to stop you from driving off the end of this. So if somebody's guiding you, make sure they're helping you get up on there nice and straight. Okay, next item, so that's the alignment rack. 22, adequate lighting. Portable shop light not only increases work of safety, it increases the work speed and precision. 23, stay away from any engine fans. The fan on an engine is like a spinning knife. Keep tools and parts and wires out of the fan. Keep guards and shields in place. If you're using equipment that has a shield, don't disable it. If the power tool has a guard, use it. 25, we talked about brake dust. It contains asbestos on older cars. Never blow it all over the place. General purpose vacuum cleaner, don't use that either. It says here, use one, don't use a vacuum cleaner. Only use the approved brake dust vacuum. We don't have one of those, so we're using Brake Clean, which is a liquid. 26, before the vehicle is to leave the shop, the instructor must check all the work. So before you drive that vehicle, I need to make sure all the lug nuts are tight. Everything that you worked on is properly tight. Everything is filled up properly before the vehicle leaves, just to make sure everything's good to drive. 27 is if you break something, tell the instructor as soon as possible so I can get it repaired. I'm not going to yell at you if you break something. Just let me know, and then I have a budget to repair stuff like that. If you are uncertain how to do something you're working on, please ask the instructor for help. And the last item on this is, remember, you are responsible for the safety of not only yourself, but also your classmates. So if you see somebody doing something wrong, you can tell them that that's not the right way to do it. If they don't seem to want to listen to you, then call me over and we'll talk to them together and make sure they're doing it the right way. So again, the safety is everybody's responsibility. So if you see something that's not right, let me know. Okay, so that's the end of part 3.